I am going to discuss about postmodernism. It is another topic from first semester major course. And here I am saying one thing that the students you go through the definitions and criticism, all these things. I am only in just explaining about the concept of postmodernism. Here you remember one thing that those who are the postmodernist thinkers and they have rejected the earlier ideas of modernism, and they also try to establish the fact that nothing is universal in this world, everything is changes, and whatever may be regarded as truth in this society but or in this case may be ultimately show that it is also not correct. So truth is not universal, it is changing, and whatever the earlier modern theory have established for their own satisfaction, but they are also not able to they are also not able to become successful to fulfill their own concern. As for example, liberalists, they were very much interested to protect the individual liberty, but in that case also they were not totally successful. Marxian theorists, they were very much interested to protect the labor class, and they are also interested to establish classless society where there would not be any difference between rich and poor, but all these things are still going on in one form of or another. So the postmodernist thinker, they are saying that whatever the modern thinkers they try to establish, they were not successful enough. So new thinking, new kind of thinking is necessary. So in the latter part of the 20th century, the foundational claims of modern politics have been challenged. That means modern theories, those who are claimed as modern supporter of modernism like liberalism, Marxism or any other political perspectives, who are themselves regarded as modernism, their foundation have been challenged because they failed to solve the issue to which they were committed. They were committed to certain issues. Liberalists were committed to certain issue. They were committed to protect the individual rights. Marxists are committed to the labor class or have-nots class. Other perspectives are committed to other things, but no one was totally successful to fulfill their commitment. And against this failure, as a reaction of this failure, ultimately this concept of postmodernism has been developed. So postmodernism means anything different, anything contradictory to present concept. So that is postmodernism, and postmodernism is a wide term. It is applicable, not only applied to political science, it is applied to philosophy, literature, architecture, culture, etc. Everywhere we found that postmodernist thinkers are there. So everywhere they said that nothing is permanent, everything is changing. It is largely, the postmodernism is largely a reaction to the assured certainty of scientific or objective efforts to explain reality. That means in earlier period, the political thinkers or other any thinkers of any field, they are adopted scientific and objective method and they try to explain the reality. But scientific and objective method are not sufficient to explain the reality. In true, actually it is not possible. So any reject the universalism and absolute truth. So what happened, that postmodernist thinker, they have rejected the universal and absolute truth. They said that no truth is absolute, no truth is universal, everything is changing. Okay, and though they are saying that earlier modern thinkers, they are saying that they have adopted scientific and objective views to establish the truth, but their truth are also now in a challenging position. So what the postmodernists are interested to establish, they are interested to establish what debate should be there. Anything what is established fact, that should be again bring into discussion and find out what is true and what elements of truth are there and what elements of falsehood are there. then they are in favor of discussion. Yes, debate and discussion is very much necessary to find out whatever the established fact that are correct or not. Then democracy means to accept other views, to give chance to others so that they can, everyone can give their own opinion and we can move forward to establish a kind of truth, but that truth may be again challenged by others. So the postmodernist thinkers, they are very much interested for debate, discussion and democracy, and they said that nothing is there in this world which can be termed as absolute truth or universal truth. And though they have adopted, they were saying that we have adopted scientific and objective method and we have established the truth, but that are actually not truth. If we are going to challenge all these things, we will find that many falsehoods are there. But some of the critics, they said that postmodernism is nothing but a buzzword. But it is not a buzzword. Actually, what is beyond modern is postmodernism. Whatever the modernism established, if anyone goes beyond that, that is postmodernism. So you remember simply that postmodernism is a challenging theory or challenging ism against modernism, and they prove that modernism or many modern attitude or modern perspective were unable to solve the problem to which they were committed. So challenges should be there, and for that challenge, if you are going to challenge liberalism or communism, anything else, you must have to get a democratic atmosphere. No one should curtail your freedom of speech. No one should curtail your right to, what I can say, the right to think about your own self, etc., etc. So what are the characteristics? Number one is that there is no absolute truth. They say that truth is relative. Whatever is regarded truth in today's world, if we explain it, if we study it properly, you may found that, but you may able to find out that number of falsehoods are related with that concept. So truth is never absolute. Then truth and error are synonymous terms. That means error took place every now and then, and truth is also took place every now and then. Facts are too limiting to determine anything. We have collected the facts and we are saying that we have collected as much data as possible, as much facts as possible, and so whatever conclusion we have drawn, that is correct. But they said that no, it is not true. Only the facts are not sufficient to establish that this concept is purely true, this concept is purely false. If you study, facts are there and number of facts are increasing day by day, problems are increasing day by day. So when new situation arises, whatever facts you have collected, that may be insufficient to prove the truth. So they are saying that facts are too limiting to determine anything. You may be satisfied that okay, I have collected so many facts, so many data, so many information regarding a particular thing, so my concept is correct. But they are saying that no, in the changing world, new situation, new problem, new thoughts are developing. So you cannot say that facts will give you the assurance that whatever you have established, that is true. So they are saying that truth and falsehood, errors are synonymous terms. Then they said that collective ownership. They were in favor of collective ownership of the means of production. That means the production should not be controlled by the individual or a few capitalist group. They are in favor of collective ownership, and they said that collective ownership may most fairly administer goods and services. That means they can distribute the goods and services properly, and collective ownership is based on justice, and it is an example of democracy. It is an example of showing respect to each other, everything. So they are in favor of collective ownership of the means of production and everything. The economic power should not be concentrated in the hands of few people. Then next one is morality is personal. They said that morality is purely a personal affair of a particular individual. Ethics is a relative term. For me, one thing is moral. From your point of view, that may be immoral. So it is purely a personal matter. Morality is each person's private code of ethics. It is purely private code of ethics. You may think that okay, this is showing respect to parents is a morality. Someone thought that no, when the parents become old, it is better to send them to old age home. So that's the same morality differ from one another, and that is purely personal, and that is why they said that it is no need to follow the traditional concept of morality in our life. We will choose ourselves what is moral or what is ethical for us. No one should dictate us to follow what is morality and what is ethics, because it is purely personal and it is depends on the attitude of a particular person, circumstances, family background, etc., etc. Then they say that globalization, they said about globalization and multiculturalism. Because of the advent of globalization and because of multiculturalism, everywhere we are finding the intermixing of cultural object or culture. Mixing of culture is going on. We find that there is intermixing in architecture, food, music, literature, fashion, organization, etc. Everywhere there we find influences of other countries, other countries' culture, tradition, food habits, organizational setup, etc., etc. So they are saying that it is the responsibility of the sociologist to develop the concept in such a way so that morality should not interfere in our cultural life, because culture now become an intermingled concept, and actually because of this globalization and all these things, globalization and multiculturalism, people are facing various difficulties also. There are some hue and cries among the small ethnic groups to protect their own culture. So whatever may be, every culture should be flourished, and it is they said that the responsibility should be taken by the sociologist so that morality should not interfere in the cultural affairs. Then they have said about information and media. Nowadays huge access is there. Huge access of media is there because of the social media and all these things. And social media nowadays actually, they are actually molding our own character, our own thinking, our own way of life, etc., etc. So that is also, it has also its negative and positive effects. Then they are also in favor of, they said that all religion are valid. They are now postmodernist thinkers. They are not willing to say that okay, Jesus Christ is only the God. They are saying that all religion are equal and all should be treated equally. Then they are also in favor of several liberal aspects of the society. As for example, they have supported feminism, they have supported homosexual ideas, etc., etc. Okay, so they are very much liberal, and they have supported all these liberal concept of present society. And about their environmental ideas, they said that they are very much concerned about the environmental degradation of the world, but they said that Western countries, which are industrial countries, they are mainly responsible for the degradation of environment. So they should have to take the responsibility for that. So in a nutshell, this is about postmodernism, what they are saying. Whatever, they are actually very much interested to challenge everything. They are very much interested to criticize everything and to give their own views, and they said that nothing is perfect, everything is changing, but for that changing scenario, we must have to give the people the right to debate, discussion and democracy. We must have to show respect to freedom of speech, the will of the people, etc., etc., and all should be treated alike. There should not be any exploitation of the people. So thank you.